Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level best of 3 between the bottom right spawning as our red ZERG player playing for team CSO. It is YoungYakov. And in the top left as our orange Terran player playing for System Gaming, it's of course SpeCial. YoungYakov versus SpeCial, an interesting match. YoungYakov has been one of the players that I've been following for the past, well, I want to say year and a half or so. Has a lot of very interesting build orders, plays different from his ZERG, his ZERG co-workers, his ZERG colleagues, as he has a pretty big focus on innovative build orders, I would say, just doing things slightly different. We've seen a lot of Nidus out of him, some proxy hatch builds, mining away minerals to go for link floods. Like, he really has had it all. So whenever I see a YoungYakov game or a YoungYakov series, I'm always very keen to have a look at it, because he's just one of these players that brings something new to the table. In a way, he kind of brings what Bly used to have, and Bly was still very actively playing. There's a lot of different early game shenanigans, while completely being capable of playing the mid and late game as well. Because that's the one thing that people often underestimate about YoungYakov, is that he has fairly decent mid and late game too. Like, he's not a bad standard player, but he's capable of mixing in these strange strategies that he came up with himself. SpeCial, on the other hand, opening up here with a... Excuse me? Oh wow, what is this? This was a very fast factory, skipping the marine completely for a very long period. He's just going to build a reactor. He's going to just build a reactor, isn't he? Second gas at a very high pace as well. Depot being thrown down. This is an insanely quick factory. He just skipped every early game unit. Literally every single one. That is not common. Alright, that is not common at all. So what is the follow-up going to be here then? Will we see a starport get thrown down? Yeah, very fast starport. Insanely quick second gas as well. And it's going to be fast Hellions. No early game units. And I guess followed up by one of the fastest Banshees I've seen in my life. If he's going for Banshees, that is. But maybe it isn't actually the case. It's not using the barracks to move closer to the starport for a close-by tech lab. So, oh, this could just... Oh... I think this might be a hell battle in. Viking into some type of hell battle in. But these Hellions are going to be so fast. Look at this. Boom. Gonna start popping out right about now. There we go. Mine drop. Okay. I hadn't expected this at all. I was just going through the options in my head, and this is the one that honestly didn't come up. I didn't think about it. And I doubt that YoungYakov is thinking about this. We do have an armory on the way, so these mines are going to be invisible as well after they hit. Spores will need to be built in order to fight them off. So we have an Overlord in production here. 46 out of 58. YoungYakov not in any major trouble. He hasn't done anything too wild yet. So far just relying on his standard early game. As the first two cars make their way across the map. These are faster than usual cars, like I said. And we'll have to wait and see if they're going to be capable of doing anything at all, or if SpeCial even wants to do something with these cars at all. The first mine drop here moves out. It's going to be 4 mines, 2 more Hellions being produced behind it, and a little bit of a supply block as well here for SpeCial in this early game. It's going to, well, cut his SCV production by at least a little bit, which is fairly frustrating. First person view of YoungYakov here, as he sees the medevac come in the Overlord, sends the Queens over immediately as he moves Lynx into position as well at the same time. Medevac takes a little bit of a beating, but the first mine will drop down as these mines actually, well, get pretty decent hits. I didn't think they were going to get such good hits, but actually does end up getting, what, 5 drone kills here. 1 more is going to finish up. Not a single spore has started. Very slow response here out of our ZERG player, who is going to have to endure another round of mine shots. Triple Hellbats now making their way into this mineral line. Lynx are going to get roasted, but I don't think much more should be lost here. Drones being pulled away from the mineral line right now. And a pretty perfect timing as well. 1 mine does get taken out. Overlord will get blasted. Drone gets taken out in the kind of that blast radius of the Widow mine. Queen in a bit of trouble as the Liberator moves in. Yep, Queen gets sniped. And YoungYakov right now struggling to hold everything together. 4 Helbets still are out here harassing on the side as the worker count is 42 to 44. And I feel like that special has already dealt enough damage. There's not a whole lot here that YoungYakov can do about this early game anymore. This early game seems practically lost. Liberator now moving into the main base. This has been a couple of weird forms of harassment being kind of added in together. We have like the Helbets on the side. We have the armory mines that were dropped, but and then followed up by a Liberator that's dealing way too much damage, of course. But 12 kills on the Lib is not okay. Sport trying to get into position will not even get a hit off as it replays itself back towards the left side of this base. Worker count for YoungYakov extremely low right now. Special following this up with 5 racks, 1-1 upgrade, and an armory that is already done, and thus an easy follow-up into 2-2 upgrades. I honestly think Evo chambers can't be built maybe until 1-1 is closer to finishing here for SpeCial. SpeCial in a fantastic position after this early game, and might just walk across the map with these 2 medevacs, with this marine count as well. And I'm not saying he's gonna go in and get a free win and get a kill, but it's definitely looking like something along those lines. I mean, this is a fantastic spot here for SpeCial. 89 supply against 79. There's no Baneling nest yet. 7 minutes into the game. Baneling speed thus hasn't started. And here come the Evo chambers. Only now 6 minutes and 46 seconds into the game. Well, SpeCial, yes, he delayed a couple of things because of those early mines, but he didn't delay them by that much. Like, he's still hitting at a very decent timing here with those Marines. Let's see if anything is ready to deal with this. And I think the answer is just going to be no. Queen's falling, and SpeCial shows why he is a force to be reckoned with. Good pickup as well. Another Queen most likely is going to go down. We have the Lip, I think, still dealing some damage in the main base as well. Medevacs are being targeted, but SpeCial can just move that back, of course. And there we go. Queen's getting blasted down at a very, very high pace as infantry weapons level 1 finishes up. These Banelings still do not have speed and can just be a right click. There we go. This is absolutely going to be it. More drones are falling. 9, 10, 11 drones. Oh, we have another drop here at the third base as well. This is game. GG gets called as SpeCial wins game number 1. Second game here is going to be played on Ancient Cistern Alley as we have a... What is this? A double gas opener out of SpeCial. I actually don't quite know what this is. This reminds me a little bit of a 2-Rex, which a lot of Terrans have been doing. That is of 1 gas, but has a similar wall. This is just going to be... Oh, it's a proxy. But what is he going to proxy here? This is basically a Terran versus Terran build at this point. It's going to be like, what? 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions, poke in forward, try to deal some damage. Maybe proxy a starport for a Liberator as well. That's a real possibility here. And of course, YoungYakov is going to have free scouting because not a single anti-air unit is going to pop out of this barracks or out of this this Hellion production machine. First Reaper pops out, gets in towards the main base. Of course, if you build the barracks on the low grounds, rush distance is just a little bit shorter. That gives SpeCial slightly more time here. The first Reaper is dealing a fair amount of damage. This drone in a little bit of trouble. Second Ling gets taken out as well. Third Ling does not get targeted down, as the starport indeed is going to be proxied. I think this is for a Liberator, but I could be wrong about that. We'll have to see if this is going to be a good build order here out of SpeCial. If this is going to once again have the effect that he wants, like he did last game. Basically straight up winning him the game with his weird little 4 mine drop into Hellbat into Liberator harassment. Not a single creature has been built yet. Pure injects for now, so another Ling gets taken out. Of course, this is a build that does require something. It needs to deal some damage, and so far it has killed a bunch of Lings. 7 Lings to be exact, but it hasn't dealt any worker damage yet. Metabolic boost about to finish up means that these Reapers are going to be a lot less useful as well. This is very quick metabolic boost, may I add. 333 for this matchup. We often see Zergs delaying it for, well, up until the 4-minute mark, or finishing up until the 4-minute mark. They don't start it at the 4-minute mark. That would be a relatively bad call. Fusion Core, it's a proxy battlecruiser. Who in the world proxies a battlecruiser against Zerg? SpeCial. SpeCial proxies a battlecruiser against ZERG. That's who. Lip into BC. High on the gas count still. 3rd CC is perhaps possible. Yeah, there we go. Money was, of course, available. Here comes a big surround coming in. This is not that strong of an army to withstand these links. It's not like it's 5 or 6 Hellions. No, it's just 2 Hellions and 3 Reapers. They're good as long as there's no speed. But the moment speed finishes up, these Reapers really lose a lot of their value. Link still trying to get a surround on these Hellions. At the same time, they're moving in right now, trying to perhaps clear this reactor. Hellions do pop, need to be pulled away. Links need to be pulled away. Reactor does seem to have priority, so maybe you don't have to pull away. Lowers the depot there. That was a move that carried significant risk in my mind. Is this... Oh my god, you can be serious. And he moves it. This is the closest thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at this vision. Oh no. Why is YoungYakov scouting here? I think this is just a misclick. Oh my god. Cars moving in right now. Do not want to be showing off the fact. Oh my. YoungYakov actually finds it.
Our forces are under attack.
Wow. Figured it out. Sees the BC. Or at least sees the fusion core. Spots the starport as well. How did he know? That is fairly impressive, no? Am I the crazy one? I think I am. But the Queen's now moving over, as well as Lynx. This does expose YoungYakov a little bit here to, well, the elements. Fire, for example. One of the elements. Fairly exposed to. This is good control here out of SpeCial. Taking out a lot of these Lynx. One BC does need to come out for this to be somewhat useful. I think SpeCial just had a change of mind. He's like, wait a second, if all your units are attacking that starport, who's at home defending your drones? And the answer is, well, not that much. Or no one, perhaps. Links are going to clean this up, and only 2 drones go down. Fusion core gets blasted, starport gets taken out. SpeCial in a terrible position. Last game so much better for him. This game just an absolute struggle. Hardly has any units left. 2 Hellions against 33 Links. Here comes the Link run by. Takes out 1, 2 Hellions perhaps. There's still 25 Links remaining, but not so sure if this is the fight that YoungYakov wants to take, as he's throwing away Ling after Ling after Ling after Ling, killing hardly any workers here at all. 3 workers go down. There was a bigger honeypot here at the 3rd base, where these workers were just standing still, just mining. Links could have gone there, but no split off happened. Now some of these workers will still end up going down. This was a bad trade here for YoungYakov, but it's still probably in a good position. Lots of cash in the bank for SpeCial. Could double expand at this point or throw down 3 more factories. He's gonna go throw down 2 more factories and probably also a 4th base. I mean, he has so much cash right now in the bank. Builds a depot up here as well for any potential run buys that might get spotted with that. But yeah, this is not the position that SpeCial was hoping for with this early game. He was obviously hoping for a much better position. Spire does get constructed, so YoungYakov probably feeling some type of pressure to get some corruptors out. Might believe that there's still battlecruisers being built somewhere, or at least banshees. It's very common when people play mech to actually go for some air units with it as well. It's never just pure mech. It's always mech, Cyclone Hellion or Hellion tank with added banshee or added battlecruiser. Mech never comes alone. It's always air unit support. Always, always, always. And in the case of Hellion Cyclone, it usually is banshee as well. That's not going to be the case here. And that means that this Spire could instead perhaps be used by building mutas rather than building corruptors. And that's an interesting thought. Because mutas against cyclones are actually quite good if the mutas are in larger numbers than the cyclones. And it comes as a surprise especially as well. That can be an added factor. SpeCial is kind of weaseling his way back into this game with 68 workers against 65. Creep spread looking fairly mediocre. These cyclones now moving across the map. Here comes a surround of these roaches on this army. Helvet's perhaps in a little bit of trouble, as 1-2 cyclones also going to get sniped here. Cyclones really not dealing all that much damage, unless of course they are in this long range lock-on mode. Hellions go down. Good fight there for YoungYakov. Very nice little fight. Triple tank as a follow-up. So SpeCial says, hey, I see your roaches and I raise you my tanks. eBay here being constructed as well. Fort base in position as this triple Hellion run by is going to be sent out. Worker count healthy for special, but army count is fairly low, and that means that this roach attack that is inevitably coming and going to hit hard, it's going to be difficult for special to hold. Here come the triple cars though. That's one drone, that's two drones. It's not really lining them up the way you want to with these cars usually, but a couple more are going to end up falling. That's a big hit. No, it's not. 5 drones do die. Tanks in the back might be capable of holding this, but a lot of SCVs are falling already. Still, this was a hold. This absolutely was a hold here for special. Yes, loses 17 SCVs. Was on 80 before. But at the same time, starting to feel like a playable game. Here comes the 9 Muta follow-up. So you have these 4 Cyclones just chilling and cruising around. Overseer gets blasted as well. Like, the thing right here for YoungYakov is that every single Cyclone that he kills is going to be an issue for special, you know? Every Cyclone you have less means no more anti-air. This is the oldest trick in the book. You force out tanks and you clear the Cyclones with your roaches just to switch into Mutas. That's exactly what's happening here. These Mutas are going to be one hell of a surprise. And this is also one hell of a surprise, by the way. I don't really think that special is ready for this quite yet. More roaches are popping out here and might be capable of dealing with it, but a bunch of drones will fall too. Actually, that was an okay trade. It was like legitimately 10 Hellions against 14 drones. I don't think that's that bad for YoungYakov if he has the larva available. Now, SCVs are going to get targeted down here by the Mutas. The first 6-7 SCVs get blasted without special even responding to this threat. Here we go, continuing to fly around. Here come the Cyclones, though. Will be capable of taking out 2 Mutas at least. The Mutas now fly over towards the fort base, where they're going to continue their reign of chaos as they take out 2, 3, maybe 4 more workers, and another Muta will die. But this Muta transition wasn't a full-out Muta transition. It wasn't mass Muta. It was a reasonable amount of Mutas, a reasonable investment in the Mutas in order to kind of secure that eco lead, and then continuously throw Ravager Lingbane at your opponent. No second Evo chamber yet. Okay, there we go. Finally, we can get some melee upgrades. Should have happened a while ago in my mind. I think the cash was available, and it was fairly obvious where this was going to, you know, kind of get into. What type of game I think YoungYakov was planning on playing. I think he should have been more clear with himself. He should have said, hey, YoungYakov, we're going to build a Baneling nest. We're going to go into those Banelings eventually and start trading Ravager Lingbane into mech. Very kind of old school way of playing. But you are going to need some Evo chambers for that. You're going to need some melee upgrades. Right now there are no melee upgrades, which means that these Banelings are just less useful than they should be. And that's painful. Hive is going to be constructed, as well as a bunch of spines here to deal with any potential Hellion run-bys. I kind of do like that. Makes life a little bit harder for special. Another thing that makes life a little bit harder for special is the fact that a lot of these Mutas are still around. It's always added damage output on top of those Cyclones. You need to keep a healthy anti-air count in this case if you are special. I think he went up to 8 factory. At least 7. Is there one more? Yeah, okay. 8 factory. 8 factories are out, so that's very good production. Here come the Mutas. We'll try to snipe 1 tank. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's gonna lose a bunch of Mutas as well. This is an interesting angle of engagement. Not so sure if I approve of this, but it is so far getting the job done, as in trades are being made. Cyclones are dying. Tanks are being sniped as well. There's 6 more tanks on the way here at the moment. This was not a good trade actually for YoungYakov at all. It was a trade, but not a good one. Now Lings are trying to fight against these Hellions as well. Special back in the supply lead. Vehicle weapons level 2 already done. We now have 6 Infasters as well as Burrow on the way. And I think the game changer here should be Neural Parasite. Without Neural Parasite, I'm not seeing another fight win here for YoungYakov, who's struggling to keep up with Special, despite Special's atrocious, honestly atrocious early game. We do have a Starport on the way, most likely going to be for a Raven follow-up. I've seen Special do this before. He loves to play this type of style. Just adding in 3-4 Ravens helps against Infestors, spotting them in the first place, but also helps using interference matrix on infestors when they cast a Knurl. So it's kind of like a ghost, except it's way easier to control because it flies. And often ease of control is a factor that is underlooked in army composition crafting, and it's one that SpeCial doesn't overlook. He says, hey, wait a second, this is a really comfortable army to control. I feel good with it, and I think it, you know, it gets the job done, which is the most important thing, of course, with any armies, that it just, you know, it does what it's supposed to. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we do see a couple of ravens being added in here. Oh, here comes a fungal though. Big fungal on top of 4 or 5 cyclones. More cyclones are dying here against these banelings as well, as that was a good engagement there out of YoungYakov. Triple Helbets trying to take out this 12 o'clock base, but roaches jump into action and will take it out instead. Ooh. That was a jackpot scan right there. That was with 8, 9 infestors waiting for Knurl to finish. Did not quite get it. Here comes the Roach Ravager. Tanks largely on siege means that these roaches get a way better trade than they ever shoulda, woulda, coulda in any other situation. 6 more cyclones being popped out here at a very high pace. SpeCial's eco is good, but does not have a high orbital command count. Doesn't even have a 5th base yet. Well, we see YoungYakov already trying to take his own 6th right now. These links may be coming in for a flank later on, as indeed we do see ravens in production right now, and perhaps even the first raven out already over here. Yep, there we go. It's going to provide some much needed detection into this army in case infestors ever pop on out again. Hydralisk then. So it feels like, I really thought YoungYakov was going for like a more baneling focused army, but he seems very keen on sticking with his Roach Ravager, staying on range units. And adding in Vipers as well. Roach run by here takes out that 6th base, or at least denies that 6th base. Wouldn't mind seeing a Ling being burrowed here for further spotting. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. These Vipers can pull some more, as there's still a bunch of energy available here. And here we go once again. 1 abduct goes down, 2 abducts go down, 1 Viper will fall. But that was some big value there for those Vipers. Of course, Cyclone's always going to be trading well during all of that as well. Anti-armor missile is also a real possibility for those ravens, as the planetary gets morphed here on the 5th base, and this barracks is just, you know, trying to gather a little bit of scouting information. Just flying around, bopping around. Greater Spire on the way, as well as this Lurker den. SpeCial moving further out on the map with his cyclones. It's going to get caught off guard here, as this planetary will get blasted. A lot of these tanks will go down. This was absolutely key timing here for YoungYakov taking out that base. There's nothing to defend this 3rd either. Where are the tanks actually? Was that all the tanks? I think that might have been all the tanks. Tanks not being defended by anything else, and as a result of that, this Roach Ravager force looking darn scary. 73 workers to 50. Cyclones now starting to head back home. Perhaps would have been best to actually go for that base trade to commit to the play, but that's not what we saw here out of SpeCial. He's gonna try and get home here with the ravens, trying to re-establish some of these bases, although I'm not so sure if that's going to be a viable long-term plan. Yes, the eco is relatively close with 71 workers to 50, and of course there are some orbital commands out. I think we have 4 orbital commands, so that does make up for what, 10, 11, 12 workers or so. At the same time though, this is no joke army because there's Vipers in there. You know, if there were no Vipers, I'd say, okay, this is a joke army, but there's Vipers, and that really changes things. Here we go once again. Oh, well, maybe here we don't go once again. Parasitic Bomb gets thrown out here. Corruptor does get spotted. 1 more Parasitic Bomb could clear this. Another anti-armor missile as well. Dorito Dust covered roaches taking a lot of damage, as these spines are also going to be taken out. SpeCial with a kill on one of these bases would definitely help out, equalize things in the income department. Question of course being is, does SpeCial have an answer to 10 Brute Lords? I think the answer to that might be no. There are Cyclones, but Cyclones not known to be necessarily a hard counter to Broodies. Here we go, Ravens moving forward. A couple of Cyclones will get taken out, of course. We have, double interference matrix on these Vipers. And did manage to get a Parasitic Bomb off, which means that I think both of these Ravens will go down. 1 will die, second one barely manages to stay alive. 160 supply to 131. And here come the Brutes They're not being spotted quite yet as YoungYakov starts moving out, and there go the Cyclones. Bam, bam. First Cyclone goes down. Currently 5 anti-air units in those Cyclones and 2 mines versus 10 plus brutes. Or well, just 10 brutes exactly, I guess. This planetary will need to be lifted again, putting YoungYakov on a bit of an eco lead. Yakov doesn't even really need to support this brute lord force. He can, but he doesn't need to right now. I mean, they're free to do whatever they want, it feels like. Planetary is not going to get cancelled and lifted here. It's actually going to finish and end up dying. It's a big mistake there. That is a very important base for SpeCial. He's now trying to float this orbital towards the top side. Brute Lord still pushing him back, though, as the tanks try to come back home. Are taking some significant damage. First Thor's not out yet, and I think that YoungYakov might have just done it. 65 workers against 43, 180 supply against 137. And here come the follow-up Banelings. Vipers are still around as well, of course, so even if Thors do come out, they can be pulled in. Cyclone connects with one of the brutes. That makes the total brute lord count 9 right now. Here come the Thors, not into the correct mode yet. And the Javelin missile get pulled in, 150 supply to 99. YoungYakov ties up the series with a 1-1 score. Alrighty, my friends, game number 3 here. What is this? Going for the same build, or at least the same setup. Now, like I mentioned before, this can also go into a double Rex Reaper. So it's not like there's just one build with this. Like, there's multiple build orders with this possible. With this low depot. Like, we first need to count the gas count, and then we can start making some informed decisions. Okay, it's actually going to be another gas. Look at a rally here on this command center. You can see it going towards this gas. This is very uncommon, this opener. I don't think I've ever really seen this being used. Maybe once or twice in the past, but years ago. I can't recall any recent games in which a double gas opener in Terran vs. ZERG was used at a high level. So I'm curious how SpeCial is going to kind of change it up, or if he's going to change it up at all. You can't go for a proxy battlecruiser, right? That seems a little bit ridiculous. To me, that seems a little bit ridiculous, at least. Reaper does go down. Is it just going to be Reaper into factory here? I think it, yeah. I mean, it has to be. It's double gas. It's not like you're gonna 3-Rex Reaper with double gases. That makes no sense. YoungYakov just playing center. Honestly, when I looked at this, the names in this series, I wasn't thinking that perhaps it's gonna be SpeCial who throws me off the most. I really thought it would be YoungYakov. He's a player that really thought of some weird, innovative styles, but so far it's been SpeCial who's been, you know, throwing the curveballs, and Yakov who had to respond to it so far. So how has he been doing it? Well, okay-ish, I guess. First game was hard. Second game felt pretty decent. 6 links are on the way here. Double queens being built. And the CC will start right about now. There's no SCV on the map anymore, which means that a proxy starport is going to be fairly unlikely. Might still be a starport at home, though. And this Reaper comes in, starts working on these drones. 6 links should be capable of dealing with this initial threat, of course. Oh. Actually gonna lose 1 link here for free. Second link also going to be in a bit of trouble. These links just continuously chase. This is not usually how you want to be microing this, but I guess it's good enough. Second barracks on the way in the main base. Is there gonna be a third barracks? No, a depot. It looked like he was setting up to build a third barracks though, so I'm not gonna blame myself for that call out. Here comes the double Reaper trying to head in. Ooh! This could be in trouble, but it ain't. How far is link speed in? Pretty close to being done right now. Still a couple of seconds here that SpeCial has of dominance out on the map. And the second barracks is about to finish up. That's nice, of course. Reaper Hellion trying to fight this queen. Queen perhaps in a little bit of trouble. Links need to come in for the rescue. This queen is still gonna die most likely. Yep, there we go. Reapers get the final say. First queen goes down. There's still 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions alive, which is a decent force to kind of duel with one of those queens. Have a little bit of a battle. Not really a duel, I guess, because it's not 2 people. There are some nasty gunslingers, all these Reapers. They have a gun in one hand, like 1 gun per hand, I think, right? Ooh! a Hellion run by at the same time in the natural. So 7 drones get taken out. Huh. Is that worth it, giving up your entire map control? Oh, don't want to go in there, YoungYakov. Don't want to go in there. You've already gotten your information. There's nothing here to get. This is it, my friend. You've seen it. It is all in vision. Like, all the info you could possibly get has been gathered. You don't have to do anything anymore, my friend. 30C is on the way, as well as Stim, which is now going to be 20 to 30% done. Double Overlord here. YoungYakov lost a lot of workers, but now can pretty much get to the worker count that he wants to get to. At least I imagine that's what he can do. Like he can go up to like 55, 54 workers, I think, and still try and defend this. His queen count is actually not looking that great. It's only 3. Roach Warren as a response here. It's not terrible against such a late third CC to have a Roach Warren necessarily, but I'm not so sure about all of this, because this almost feels like you need to build roaches to deal with this 2-on-1 drop. And I'm not so sure if these roaches are going to be out in time to deal with it. Okay, this does get spotted, so YoungYakov is going to be completely in the know. Roach Warren finishing up. It's going to be supply blocked. Will not be capable of building any roaches whatsoever when it finishes up. Please, we need some overlords right now. 5 more drones on the way instead. We're going up to, what is it, like 22, 23 links. There's going to be 5 queens. Baneling Nest wanted to be built. No, gets cancelled, or doesn't get started at least. Double medevac heading towards the main base, and this is looking very bad right now here for YoungYakov. Not in position with queens, no vision of this. He's gonna get his first warning and will need to respond immediately. 1 drone goes down, queen gets blasted as well. That means there's only going to be 4 queens left. And I think that SpeCial could have stayed there a little bit longer against these links and tried to fight. But instead he goes back home, at least moves out for a little bit. 4 roaches are in production. Next medevac with tank, with marines is being sent out. Combat shield halfway done as well, as the 3rd base should be flying over at this point. Worker count still completely even. No 4th base on the way yet even for YoungYakov, who's in a world of trouble right now. With this queen count, with this poor unit count, double evos are on the way, but his drone count is... this is awful. This is just painful to watch here. Marines moving forward. Tank can siege up, I guess. And roach count is 10. And that's it. It's 10 roaches, 12 links. There's a tank here, and there's plenty of marines. I think with a little bit of good target fire, SpeCial's just going to take this game and take this series. Here we go. Combat shield about to finish up as well. Medevacs healing their lives away. Energy still available for another stim as this tank just unsieges and starts moving forward. Has +1 finished yet on this army? No, not yet, but combat shield is definitely going to help out. Individual marine micro here out of SpeCial. Lost the game with a proxy battlecruiser of the same opener, but takes it back in the 3rd one. As more and more roaches are being popped out, I don't think they're going to come in time. Roach Warren is being right-clicked here as well. Broodlings pop out. 2nd tank arrives on top of it as well. And as +1 has finished at this point, I just don't think these roaches can compete anymore quite. GG gets called. YoungYakov taps out, and SpeCial wins the series with a 2-1 score, leaving you and I behind. My dear viewers, thanks so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.